Good evening and welcome to Scott Valley Hairdressing. This is what's all happening here tonight. We're a little bit later than what we wanted to be tonight, but anyway, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's absolutely great to have you back this week. Hopefully my voice will be really good tonight. It's been a little bit ropey again this week, but let's just wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, it's great to have you with us this evening. Big good evening to all our international viewers tonight. Big good evening, especially all of the Muck family in Australia, especially big good evening to Mark, I know you might be watching tonight, Clive and Lisa tonight, part of the global artistic Muck family. Also big good evening to Muck UK, all of the crew at Muck Central, Barbara Green, Lawrence, BA and the lovely Justina, great to see you tonight. Also all of the Primal Conditioning crew, I know you'll all be watching tonight. Big good evening, especially SJ, woo! You'll be watching this later, no doubt. Kerry Southam, Tracy, Lucy, Anthony, of course, our model from last week, and of course, Jamie Bray, I know you'll be watching also this evening. Also, let's say a big good evening to Kate from Mildenhall. I know you'll be watching also from Locks, I know you'll be on there later. And also a big good evening to all our local people that are watching around the area, both our clients, our guests that come to Scott Valley Hairdressing, and also all of our people that are locally around the community. Big good evening, it's nice to have you with us. So, what's it all about? I always think, whenever I start one of these things, I always think it's really important to share information, and I also think it's important to make people feel special. So, sharing information is very important, and I also think making people feel special is what it's all about. The models feel special at the end of it. We've had a great supply of models. We're now on number 15 tonight, which of course we were going to do 3 originally. Now we're coming up to double figures. We're going to stick the 20 mark soon. As I said, we'll go to Christmas, and then we'll go then into maybe a styling section or something different. I've got other ideas, and I shall then be auditioning for models. Dean Thomas, hopefully our local celebrity that sings, will be joining us in the next few weeks up here as well, which will be quite interesting. But we've been very grateful to all the people we've got. As with tonight, you'll see the model that we have this evening is a local celebrity in himself, which I'll introduce you to very shortly. But in the meantime, what's it all about? Well, first of all, we'll be sharing information. Secondly, we'll be sharing what we do here at Scott Bailey Hairdressing with a fantastic team. Because I know Brad, my captain in the Spartans, will be watching tonight, as with Charlotte Goldsmith, our wonderful assistant manageress, as Georgie, also our manageress, will be watching tonight. But again, it's all about use of products. We'll be using the Muck products exclusively tonight, showcasing what the product can do and how it can work with the cut that I've chosen with the model to do this evening. So, the most important thing is that you know what we're doing here tonight and what it's all about. I feel very privileged to be able to share this with you. We now need to introduce you to the model. And of course, it gives me no greater pleasure but to introduce a model tonight. And I'm sure some of you that are watching will know who the model is. But let's introduce you to our model this evening, Mr. Joseph Yates.
Good evening, Facebook Live. How are we?
Get him on there, get him on there. Let's just say
How are we doing? Nice to see you all. Thank you. It's a pleasure and honour to be here at Scott Bailey Hairdressing, and thank you to Scott and for everyone to watch. And it's just an absolute pleasure and honour to be here. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Can't tell how excited I am to be here, people. You know, it's amazing. You know, thank you so much.
Woo! That's it. Woo! That's it. Joe, that's it. Joe, thank you so much. It's always a great pleasure for me also to be able to do your hair, and a big honour. So thank you so much. So, what's it all about? Well, let's talk about every haircut starts at a journey. I always say when I'm teaching around the country, there's a journey and you're all on a journey. Let's have a look at how that journey starts. Let's talk about Joseph's hair, what we're going to do tonight. So, we're going to be taking, let's have a quick look at the head. We're going to be taking it nice and short through the back and sides. We'll be using scissor over comb technique in here. We'll be cheating with the clippers through the back and sides on the perimeter areas. We'll be working through the top. You see how the swirl or the crown has got a nice little rounded effect to it. We're going to be cutting a rounded effect with that to bring out that shape nicely. The important part is that we're going to be cutting then to cut at an angle, so the hair actually bends at an angle. So I'm actually going to be cutting the hair at an angle with either a razor blade or with a pair of scissors. But the most important part is we're going to go from short on the crown coming through to longer on the front, which what that will do is it will maintain the front panel and also keep it so that it protects the fringe, which in the beauty of it is when the person looks at Joseph's hair from the front, they'll think the whole haircut is long on the top. This is very popular at the moment and it'll work really nice. We'll be working with the recession, the parietal ridge, which is one of Ross's favourites of course, the apex, upper occipital, lower occipital, mastoid process, and the nape. We'll be working with all those bones tonight. So we'll do the initial haircut first all over. We'll be going through the initial haircut and making sure that everything looks good in the wet relationship of the haircut. What we'll do then is we'll have a break and we'll disappear for a few minutes, or we'll do the blow dry and do part of the finish, and then we'll come back afterwards after you've put your children to bed, because it's a little bit later tonight. Caught up on the last part of EastEnders. Actually, that's just finished 20 minutes ago, I think, anyway, because I've not watched EastEnders for such a long time. But anyway, you'll be able to catch up on what you need to catch up on, then you come back to us again and we'll do the final bit, which will be the finale and the dry relationship of the haircut, which means we'll do all the nice finishes off. So, every haircut starts with a journey. As I say, let's look at what product we're going to be using to cut with tonight, because I do like working with a cutting lotion. Tonight we're going to be using Blowout Mousse by Muck, Fat Muck tonight. So again, we need about the size of a golf ball, which is quite a nice sort of size to use. Now the idea is, rather than putting your hands together and placing it on the hair, it's easier to just, you see how this nice thick consistency allows you to work the product in nice. Now we want to be able to get this into the roots without wasting any product. Let's just have a quick look who's on there quickly. Let's just see who's on. Julie Holyland, nice to see you with us, one of our models. Lauren Aris, nice to see you. Cheryl Burrows, nice to see. Aunt Collie, great to see you on there tonight. We'll be using Filthy Muck later, one of our models from the other week. In fact, our last model. Great to see you on there, Aunt. Nice to see you with us, Robocop tonight. Let's see who else is on there. I can't see any of the names, but I'm sure there'll be a few others. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, here we go. We've got a few people tonight. Adrian Cooper, nice to see you. Daniel King, Andy Hard. Oh yes, of course. Quick back on me. Big good evening to Big Mate and also Lynn. How could I ever forget you? And also Little Mate. Hopefully you'll be enjoying tonight's presentation on there. So it's great to see you with us. Let's just have another quick little look who else is on, just so we can say good evening. Lauren Ayres, good to see you on there. Also, Laura Westonbury, nice to see. Paul King, King E from Essex, good to see you with us also tonight, King E. Hope you're okay with the family. Just Gary Neal, good to see you. Also, nice to see. Yes, Raj from the A5, Sweet Treats. Great to see you with us tonight. The guy that owns Sweet Treats. After tonight, open till 10 PM tonight. Great place to go and have ice cream, Sweet Treats on the A5. Lucy, nice to see you with us also tonight. Lucy will be with us on Saturday, one of our other models. They're all on tonight, it's great. So if I've not had a chance to say good evening to you, big good evening to you if you're with us tonight. So, let's start at the beginning of what it's all going to be. Let's just have a look now. So, we're now going to go with... That's it, so I'm just trying to listen to my father as he's trying to talk to me. He's pulling faces and doing sign language, which I don't really understand what I'm trying to call. He's going... So don't worry, if the picture goes off, then obviously we'll try and get back to you as quick as we can. So let's go on to the recession now. We're going to be working with the recession, the parietal, which is one of Ross's favourites. That's it, we're going on something called a horseshoe section. So let's just get rid of this a minute so you can see what's going on. There you go. Charlie Brooks! Woo! Nice to see you with us tonight. Charlie Brooks in the house. It looks like Chris Lord is on there as well. Chris Lord from New Zealand. Darren Bellum, nice to see you with us as well from the Spartans. Good to see you there. So it's just Palmer. Maz Palmer. You'll know the model tonight. Quick, flick the camera on Joseph quickly so you can say hello to Maz Palmer.
Good evening, Maz. How are things? You know, great. We have a great mutual friend in Mr. Bailey as well, you know. Only the best people have to be mutual friends, so that's what it's all about, you know.
Maz Palmer, good to see you with us. So, what we're going to do now is just get all the horseshoe sections set up. Now, the reason why we use a horseshoe section on this is because it subdivides the haircut, which means that you get a chance to do one half of the haircut and then come through to the top, which then makes it easier because then obviously you're able to subdivide it and make it a lot more cleaner. Now, obviously, doing a clean cut is what we're after. Cleanliness, I can't stipulate more to you that if you do a clean section, you get a clean haircut, and that's what was always drilled into me. So it's very important. Also, One more person I need to say big good evening to tonight, if she's watching, is my beautiful wife Glenda. If you are watching tonight, sweetheart, big good evening, and I hope you're well. I know you're away on business tonight, and I hope your flew speech went really well today while you're down at Olympia. Let's not forget also Jess Allen, you know you loved, because you'll be no doubt watching tonight. So this is where it starts tonight. It's the thumb that leads, so we're going to be doing the thumb that comes round, which leads on the cut. So hopefully there won't be any doll's hairs cut up tonight, because I know some of our young viewers tend to get a little bit carried away with the dolls. So no toothpaste tonight on the blue shampoo or any muck to be used in there. Hopefully Dad will tell me when Alan Maxwell comes on, and the lovely Justina. Lee Morris, good evening. I've not seen Lee Morris for a long time. Nice to see you with us tonight, Lee. Hope you're well. So now you can see this is a travelling guide. Who else is Thompson? Beth Thompson, big good evening, nice to see you with us also tonight, Beth. Hopefully Rich is alright as well. Rich Holt, very inspiring is Rich out of the Spartans. I enjoy training with Rich, he's very inspirational, as with a lot of them on Primal. So now you can see this is a travelling guide. What we're doing is we're cutting to the second knuckle. That's one of Rich Holt's favourites, that is. So when I say that, we're actually cutting down to our second knuckle, which is where the most amount of tension is. If you go past the second knuckle, you most likely will cut yourself and also lose the tension. So you can see now, it's just keeping it clean. Some people will actually say, I don't know, you don't cut yourself. Well, you watch now, I probably will cut myself because I've just said it, but
Too professional for that.
the main thing is that while you're cutting, you've just got to make sure you keep a nice clean section, and also try and keep some discipline in there. As with anything that you do in life, it's all down to discipline. Trying to keep the sections nice and clean, keeping the knuckles tight to the head. Because again, by doing that with your knuckles, it makes it so that everything sits perfect. This part, some people just get clippers and just cut it when it's dry, which is fine, it's not a problem, but I find that scissor over combing afterwards is a lot more natural, it lasts a lot longer, and also it's a good skill set, because as a hairdresser you forget things, and it's good to just sort of stay on your skill set. So you can see now as I'm coming through, everything blends through quite nice, there's no lines in it. A majority of my men that come to me, they'll all recognise this technique, but the main thing is it's looking clean as we're going through. Now I'm just going to switch to the other side. Let's go on like carousel. Right, so now the hand changes over position and the thumb leads the second way. So now the fingers are going clean into the neck, which is where it gives us a chance to keep the sections nice and clean. To some of you that have never seen this before, as in non-hairdressers that are clients that are on there tonight, big good evening. This will probably be interesting for you to watch. From here we're going to the top part of the head on Joseph's hair, and then we go into the texturisation through the top, and then we go into the blow dry, which will then disappear, and then we'll come back afterwards.
JD, who's getting mail on Saturday. Give a shout to JD.
Is that JD? Oh, JD. Big good evening to JD, who's getting married on Saturday, one of Charlie Brooks's friends. Woo!
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hopefully your wedding will be fabulous, I'm sure it will. It's one of the best days of your life, I'm sure you'll always remember it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that the weather stays nice for you. I don't know what the forecast is, but whether it's rain or shine, it'll be an amazing day. So yeah, that's it. Joseph's got his fingers crossed for you, so yeah, good luck JD. Hope it all goes alright for you. Let's see who else is on there just quickly. Brittany Abbey on there, Sam Woodcock, nice to see you on there. Tucker, also big shout to Rick, sure he'll be watching tonight over there. Who else is on here tonight? Stephen Thomas tonight, big good evening. Ben Lavender, nice to see you with us tonight as well from Primal.
Wow, Ben Lavender, I know him very well.
Do you know Ben Lavender?
I do.
Do you want to say something to Ben Lavender?
Nice to see you, Lavy. Good to see you. How are things? You know, it's what it's all about. You know, you're missing out big time being Facebook Live with Scott. So
he's been on it, up at the New Plough Inn.
wow.
Big good evening to Darren also, and Louise tonight for the New Plough Inn if they're watching. Great landlord and landlady they are. They're also on Primal with us as well. In Ben's family, of course, the Lavenders. So yeah, good friends as well.
Fantastic.
It's what it's all about. Family. It's all you know. It's all close knit. Everybody's close. It's a nice community. That's what it's all about. And again, the nice thing is about hairdressing, it becomes that type of scenario where everybody becomes family, and it's nice. I like sharing ideas with other hairdressers, and I like also getting ideas from other hairdressers, and that's the way it should be, an information sharing session. You know, it's life's too short, so you've got to enjoy yourself. So
Always
that's
new
what's
things
like.
to learn every day, same in my profession as well.
Yeah, exactly, that's right. Because of course Joseph is at the Tarot Lounge. Most of you know him from down there. Previously, it would have been the Harvester, so he'll be one of those faces that you recognise. So now what we're doing is we're moving on here. We're going to go with a middle parting. Again, it's important to keep the sections clean. This will be a new look tonight. Once I've finished with it, this is it.
This is it.
You just say, get through
Almost reminds me of the Nicky Byrne Westlife look, do you know what I mean? So
That's right, classic.
flying without wings, you know.
That's the one. So we're now going back to what we were doing previously, moving around. It's a travelling guide. Again,
Lucy Shep.
Lucy Shep. Let's just put her on just a second. Lucy, thank you so much for the magazine that you brought down for me. I was so touched that you brought that to me about Remy. Thank you so much. You are a real celebrity. Local celebrity as well. See you Sunday. Thank you.
Tracy Williams.
Tracy Williams. Woo! Hopefully you're okay, sweetheart. Nice to see you on there tonight. It's all good. Dad keeps calling him out. JB. Jamie Bray. Nice to see you on there. Good training with you last night, Jamie Bray. Really good. Always good to see you with us. So it's the two finger. So it's the second knuckle on two fingers. It's really important just to make sure that that's all alright. What we need is Lauren Waters on there so we can all check our phones and make sure that they're all safe. That's what we all need. So let's just have a switch again. We need to go the other side. That's it, my little friend. You just move over there. That's it.
You are leading, Scott, you know. The thumbs are leading, you are leading me right now, which is
leading.
fantastic.
Maybe you want to say my little friend like to me, but Dad. That's
Wow.
There's a child.
I feel more little now in the chair, you know.
Oh no, this is it, thank you. So the thumb's now leaning on the second side. You can see what we're looking for is that weight line that's just in this area here. So what a lot of people tend to do is round it off and bend the finger. So if you actually pull the finger out slightly, it keeps it square. So we're looking for a square thing on there. Who's just jumped on there? Let's put it on quickly, put it on. Good evening, darling. I hope you're really well. I do miss you. I've not had a chance to speak to you. I really do miss you lots, and I love you lots. I hope you're okay, and your speech went really well. Joseph wants to say hello to you just quickly.
Good evening, Glenda. How are we? Missing you as well, obviously. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame that you're not here, but you know, hope your speech went well also. We'll catch up in the near future, obviously. Over Prosecco or two.
Don't think I'm too crazy. Once I finish this tonight, I might just go for a run and do a quick live feed on that later on because I've got to do, obviously, my fitness for Primal, so I might just make another appearance later before I have that wonderful dinner that you left me. Thank you so much. So now we're moving on to our next piece, which is keeping the weight line, obviously, to a minimum and making sure that the thumb leads on this part. So now we're just about to go into the top part where we talked about earlier on about the swirl. We'll be working on the crown next just to make sure everything sits in. You can see the whole cut is looking fresh on the sides, which is what it's all about. Marcus Tannoy, nice to see you with us tonight. Also, Sarah Jane Fairbrother. Lauren Waters. Quick put on, mate. Lauren, don't worry, my phone is safe, it's fine. My dad's got it in his hand. Hopefully everybody from Primal, their phones are safe as well too tonight. Nice to see you, sweetheart. Okay, so now we're going to move on from the top part. We're going from the apex, which is good for any roofer because they know exactly what that means. So we're going to go from the apex bone down to the upper occipital bone. Now, I'm just going to change the technique over just slightly. We're going to go for a different pair of scissors.
Lucy Ellen was Scott.
Lucy! Nice to see you with us. Lucy! Are you okay? Lucy Ellingworth. Lucy! So now we're using a stroking technique. What this is basically producing like a jagged effect all the way through the top. So it's more advanced now. So what we do is we hold the hair up slightly so there's no drag and then flick it off with a blade. So it's quite a interesting technique. Glenda knows this technique only too well because for 6 months I practiced this technique in our living room and there was hair on the floor every night. When she came home, she's probably raising her eyebrow now and laughing to herself because she remembers the dolls that I was training on. Again, practice makes perfect, and also the technique while I was doing it. So let's just come around this way. Come on to the side, you should get a better look now. So I'm just switching. Kevin Kirkham, nice to see you with us tonight. Hope you're okay. So now we're just coming around the other side. You can see the hair lies naturally now. This is setting me up for the big game because in a moment I'll be using the razor blade to go through Joseph's hair. And what that will do is two things. Number one, it will texturise it and make it look very natural. And number two, it will also thin it as I'm doing it as well, because the blade's pitchable, which means you can alter it to make the hair thinner or thicker. So you can see now that's sitting quite nicely on the crown, or the swirl as the Americans call it. Okay, let's go on to the top part now. So most people traditionally cut hair this way on sections, which is fine. It's more solider as it falls forward. On the crown you'd have to pull it back to a point, so you come up to where the beginning part of the recession would be, and you'd be pulling it back to keep that so that you would get that maintaining long through the front. The difference, what I'm going to do tonight, is I'm going to cut from short to long and create that effect. And the way I'm going to do it is like cross-checking and come through the opposite way. So I'm going to use the clock. I'm going to go 9 to 12, and then I'm going to go 12 to 3. So the way I'll do it now is I'll go in and really glide the blade in. So you'll see me go in now, so just cut. And then as it comes up towards the end to maintain length, the finger pulls towards me, which then allows me to then maintain the length. So now as I come up here, I'll just bring it up, glide it off. It's a fresh blade, so it's got that beautiful sound, and you can see now we've got a shape that sits perfect, and we've maintained that fringe as well. So again, you can do this with a pair of scissors, or you can do it with a blade. The reason I'm sort of now just using this motion on the blade is because it creates more texture, and then as I get towards the front, it then just keeps it so it glides through and keeps the length so it's longer. So now I'm just coming through again, working it a little bit better. So you can see we're just coming through, keep some length.
Teresa wants to shout out, she feels left out.
Teresa! Let's just have a quick look. Oh, Teresa! Oh, Teresa, big good evening to you. I hope you're alright, darling. Nice to see you, and I'm looking forward very much to Glenda and I coming out for David's birthday on Saturday night. So big good evening to Teresa Ellingworth tonight from Betty Ann's. We'll all have seen her from the Portugal video doing the hand and arm massage and being our wonderful receptionist while we're at Casa Lisa out in Portugal. Ooh. It's a good mouthful that is, isn't it?
Indeed.
The name of it, Casa Lisa. That was Glenda's choice, so it worked really well. So you can see now, just coming through to the front to hold that off. So now what it's doing is it's keeping that length on the fringe and also allowing us to get that turn so it's coming round. So again, if you wanted to, you could just come in from the side, chip away at it sideways on, and that just then creates that little bit of shape coming in. Okay, Joe's getting excited about it.
Wow, what can I say?
Okay, so we can now see the shape there. Let's just turn around the other way. That's it, don't worry, I'll turn for you. Now Dad needs to go this way, over to the other side, because then he won't sort of get in my way. That's it. Thanks, my little friend. That's really good. Alright.
I know this time you're not talking about me, so.
That's right. The reason I say is because he used to call me my little friend.
Wow.
So now as we get towards the front, now just pull it. This is the hardest way to cut because you're cutting backwards as you're doing it. So you're doing exactly the same as you were doing before, but you're now doing it in reverse. So you're pulling everything up towards you, and the fingers are pulling up towards you, and also as you're getting towards the front, you're now sort of pulling it out and cutting it. And again, shake it a little bit off, because then the fat muck blowout mousse allows you to see that shape that you've created earlier on. So again, it's just important to try and keep your mind on what you're doing with this, because again, at this point now, even though we're using time to cut it, we're also trying to remember to keep that long, because if I was coming in now really short, you'd lose the fringe and it'd come straight off. So again, it's just quite nice now. Or just whip back round again. We've got the fringes maintained, because of course Joseph couldn't see that fringe, but now he can.
That's
You
it.
can see we've kept that now, and the main thing is, the main part of the programme is to go quite short here and long just there. So I'm just going to go through the opposite way. Again, cutting traditionally as people would now, and just coming in with a razor and just making sure if there's anything that needs to come off, it will need to come off. Let's just lay down a little bit.
Yep, perfect.
So that I can reach you.
Indeed.
Even though I'm quite tall. So I'm using the texturising edge of the blade now, just to give it a little bit more texture.
I must say it's a fantastic tool to use. I've seen you use it a few times before myself, Scott, and it's fantastic. So
yeah, you just got to be confident with it, because the thing is, with a razor blade, you just have to remember, like with this, don't do the mistake that I did when I first used it, and that was comb the hair with a razor end
right.
and take off a load of hair, because then you find it's just create a problem. So
Yeah.
it's all flicking in the hand.
Fantastic.
But again, it takes hours of practice to be able to do this. So, you know, I didn't just sort of do this in 5 minutes. It actually took a while to learn it. And again, being on stage, when you're performing, you've got to keep it looking interesting for people to watch.
Well, Tom Cruise didn't know how to make a cocktail in 5 minutes, did he? Do you know what I mean?
That's right, yeah, exactly. So again, it's just remembering what you're doing with something like this. But anybody who doesn't use a razor blade, I'd urge them to use one because it's great. It's a great tool to use and it's integral with anything like this. You can see now the hair wants to bend on its own. So what we'll do is we'll get the thinning scissors in there in a second and just cut that out a little bit more.
And I can also say from a client's point of view, it's not painful either. You know
yeah,
what
again,
I mean?
that's very important. That's a good point because again, you've got to have the blade's got to be fresh to be able to work. And again, you can just hear it cut in just slightly.
And I hate to put in there, Scott. Do you know what I mean? But it's as I say from a client's point of view, it's not a painful process at all. Do you know what I mean?
No,
So,
exactly. That's
so if anything, it's quite soothing, you know, because you know it's doing a good job with your hair. So.
I'll be passing it over to you in a minute.
Oh, I don't.
No,
I don't even now.
Right, let's get some thinning scissors for this next part. Okay, so we're going to go in now with 29 teeth and a blade. So the idea is with 29 teeth, let's see who else is on here tonight. Carrie-Anne Palmer, nice to see you with us tonight. Lauren Harris. Pat Booth, good to see you with us also. Who else is on there? Samantha Marlowe. Good. Nikki Gower, great to see you with us tonight. Christine also, great to see you. Chutney, good to see you also. Callum Wilson. Rob Smith, good to see you. You can see it's holding up tonight on the old internet, which is good. Benny Booth, good to see you. Gavin Kirkham, yes, good to see you there, my favourite nephew. Really good to see you with us tonight. So now what I'm doing now is just using the thinning scissor, and as I'm sort of moving my hand round to do this, it's creating a nice little curve so it bends back on its own. Let's just come around the other side again, Dad, so I can just try and showcase that. So as you're doing really is just moving it round and just keeping it so as I'm cutting it, I'm sort of turning it back as I'm doing it, and you can see straight away it just wants to turn on its own. So people would never use thinning scissors like this, but again, it's all about breaking rules and trying to, you know, do something a little bit different that other people don't do. And it just sort of makes a big difference, that does, because again, it's what the wearer can do with their hair and how the hair sits when they wear it at home. I tend to use this word a lot, it's the longevity of the cut. So it's not just how it looks when you cut it and it's finished, it's actually how it looks when they go home, the guest, 4 weeks down the road. It's got to still look interesting. So let's just switch over again, Dad, so everybody can see what's going on. That's it. So we need it so the viewers at home can see what's happening. So now we can see, I'm just going through this and just really just blending the two sections together. It is blended now, but I am, well, for those that know me, I'm quite fussy about how things are put together. So
I would never have put that with you, Scott.
It just needs to sit right, so it's important. So in a moment we're going to go into the blow dry. What I'll do then is I'll come off what we're doing and then we'll disappear for about 10 minutes and then we'll come back on again after. But you can see the main basis of the cut is coming together now. We've got the swirl is sitting nicely on its own, because if it wasn't at this time it'd be sticking up. If it was too short it'd be sticking up. So again, it's figuring out the logistics of how a haircut's going to come together. And again, the good thing is with a product, when you're putting it in the hair, you can actually see what's going on. Now I'm just going to introduce a product to the game. We're going to bring another product in now. We're going to use one of Aunt Collie's favourite products.
And one of my personal favourites as well.
And your personal favourite, Filthy Muck. So this is a paste. It's quite sort of gritty, the paste, but it's very smooth and pliable. What that will do is, it allows you to move it well in the hands, but by warming it up slightly, I can now apply it to the hair. Now, most people would not use this product at this point to blow dry in, but again, it's basically humidity resistant, as with all the muck pastes. So what we do is here at Scott Valley Hairdressing, we apply this product to male and female clients and blow dry in. And what you find is you get a nice shine sometimes if it's a shiny product. This one will be matte because it's a matte finish, because of a lot of the gritty feel to it. But what I can see now is the important part is, as I'm doing this, you can actually see the shape sort of building up. You can see where we're going with it. So I'm actually getting a true representation. So this is why, if any guests are on tonight watching, this is why I do this, because it's working as a blow drying lotion, which replaces what would be a mousse or something like that, or maybe a gel. It just basically is very lightweight and it will disperse into the hair in a minute, but I can actually see this cut, how it's sitting. So in a moment we'll use the dryer to dry on that. So the important thing is that we've now got the wet relationship with the haircut completed. We'll then do the blow dry in a minute and come back with the dry relationship with the haircut. So please don't go away for a few minutes. But in the meantime, thank you so much for staying with us. Hopefully you've learnt something very quickly on this part of the cut. It's like laying blue bricks on a house. It's really important, because then you add the orange bricks afterwards, which does the finish, and that's what you see as the finale. We'll be doing the orange bricks on the second half in a moment. But again, it's foundations, and that's what I'm really trying to sort of stress on this part, that if you get the cut right on this point, it will look perfect for the rest of it. So again, it's foundations, it's discipline, it's hand positioning, it's finger positioning, it's how you stand. You got to think about your well-being, you know, keep your back straight. There's a lot of things to think about. Your footwork sounds like a dance, literally. But again, it's what it's all about. You know, people will be doing this, no doubt. Tomorrow you'll be thinking mentally in your head, right, am I standing correctly? Am I bending over? Is my hand in the right position? Is it moving in the right way? You know, it's the mechanics of something, and think about the products. How's the product working for you with the cut? How is it all coming together? So these are all things that we talk to ourselves every day about as hairdressers. But you know, just give a thought tomorrow. It's important, and it's also incredible what you can change with your way of working. But in the meantime, have a great cup of tea. Have a great time watching EastEnders, putting your children to bed. We all love you very much, and we'll see you very, very shortly. But in the meantime, thank you again for being with us. We'll see you again very shortly. Ciao for now. Good stuff.